How do people wake up early in the morning? And why would they want to? It's so cozy in bed. It's cold out there. Why? And I'm just gonna blame it on the fact that I'm just not a morning person. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I mean, I'm still so exhausted. And I went to bed before 10 p.m. And I got plenty of sleep. I slept like 8 to 9 hours. But I still can't get up. I've tried everything. I've tried apps. I've tried techniques like putting your phone across the room, drinking a tall glass of water first thing when you wake up. I seem to be able to do it for maybe like 2 days in a row, and then I go back to my old ways.
Poor little Anthony, whining and feeling sorry for himself.
Look, guys, I understand the struggle. You ask my family, my friends, my roommates. I was never the morning person. Actually, I was quite the opposite. I would wake up very last minute, rush out the door. I would be at work like 20 minutes just after waking up. And you could best believe I wasn't very attentive at all, wasn't very alert. But what I did know is I needed to change something. So what I did consistently for 2 years, I tried so many methods on how to wake up early, and I failed a gazillion times. I'll be able to maybe get like a week consistent in, but I'll just revert right back to my old habits. And I was on the verge of giving up and just accepting that I'm not a morning person until finally it clicked and I figured it out. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you what I learned and what I did to change my mental perspective on waking up early and how this allowed me to create this habit. And this might sound corny to some of you guys in these next topics I'm about to talk about, but I guarantee you they work. So, cheers. Well, first things first, guys. What is the identity of the person you want to become? In this case, it's simple. It's a morning person. And if you're watching this video, that's exactly who you want to become, right? But what's the problem right now, and probably the biggest thing that's preventing you from becoming this person, is you keep telling yourself that you are not a morning person, and you identify as that. So my past self, like most people, when trying to change a behavior or create a new behavior, is we always look at the outcomes first. So in this case scenario, the outcomes would be to be more alert, have more energy in the morning, right? And when I look at that outcome, I will say the process I need to do to get that is wake up at 5:30 a.m. or I need to go to bed early. And then essentially doing these processes, I would then become a morning person. However, it's the complete opposite. It's actually all in reverse. So the first thing I did is I changed my belief on who I am and what my identity is. So I told myself I am a morning person. I told my friends, my family, anyone who asked, I am a morning person, even though I was not yet. And then what I would do throughout the day, I would ask my question before any activity I would do, what would a morning person do? So let's say it was nighttime and I was watching Netflix at night and it said, do you want to watch one more episode? What would a morning person do? Would they actually hit, yes, I want to watch one more episode? Or they say, no, I need to get ready for bed and go straight to bed? Same thing when you're in bed. What would a morning person do? Would they be on their phone for 5-10 minutes? Or would they actually go straight to bed, shut their phone off? So in order for me to permanently change my behavior, I had to permanently change my belief in my identity. So I can't give all the credit to me. I gotta shout out my guy, James Clear, Atomic Habits. He talks about this in, I think, the second or third chapter, and that was the single most important thing I took from that. So if you haven't read that book, check it out. I'll put a link in my description. And this is what James Clear would call an identity-based habit versus an outcome-based habit. So identity-based habit would be where you actually identify yourself as this person, and then you ask yourself, what would this person do to get those processes? And then essentially you will get those outcomes, versus searching for the outcomes first and then identifying the processes to get there and then hopefully getting to the point where you become that person. Now this made me stick to my habit longer than I ever did before. I was waking up early for months and months on out. I ingrained in myself that I am a morning person and nothing was gonna change that. And after some time though, I noticed that I started getting away from this habit. 1 or 2 or even 3 days go by and I wasn't waking up early. And my motivation was dwindling and I just didn't know what was happening. And I had to ask myself, why was this happening? And this led me to my second mental change on why I wanted to wake up early. The why. Now we talked about identity being the first thing. Your outcomes are still important, but they gotta be actually meaningful. So it's not just saying, I just wanna be more alert in the morning. You gotta dig a lot deeper than that. Take a piece of paper, write down, what would happen if I woke up early in the morning? Like, what am I gonna do to progress my life further? Mentally, physically, or financially? So for me, personally, what it was is I wanted to be more alert in the morning so I could help build our company into a multi-7-figure business, which will allow me to have more financial opportunity, which in turn will help me buy my first house, and I could stop renting from other people. Now, everyone has their own reasons on why they do what they do, but they must make it a burning desire for them that has painful consequences, because if you don't, you're probably gonna stop doing this habit after a while. Because why? Remember when you were a kid and you had a field trip the next day and how excited you were? Well, what happened? Well, the very next morning, before your parents even came in the room to wake you up, you were out of bed, dressed, ready to go. Why was that? Well, you had a very strong desire to get up and you had your why. The why was, well, first of all, you didn't have to go to school and you went on a field trip, but your 5th grade crush, Susie, was actually gonna sit next to you on the bus. And if you didn't show up, your sworn enemy, Billy, was actually gonna steal your girl. Now, if that ain't the tea, I don't know what is. But if there is no strong desire for the task at hand, you will have a hard time waking up in the morning. And this is gonna be very difficult for you in the long run. Motivation doesn't last forever and comes and goes. But people who have this burning desire will have the grit and the consistency to be able to do this every single day because it is important to them. And the last piece of my mental change actually comes the night before. I actually figured out that my nighttime routine was way more important than my morning routine. Reason is because other than just being extremely exhausted the night before, my mental state before I went to bed played a part in how well I slept that night. And if you can't have a good night's sleep, then you're probably gonna be exhausted in the morning and you're not gonna be able to wake up. And I shouldn't have to sell you on sleep. Sleep has so many benefits. There's so many studies out there that says it actually improves your mood. It betters your immune system. It prevents weight gain and so much more. But obviously, in this case, you have to be disciplined. I used to work until late nights and then go right to bed. And I know everyone wants to stay up and watch movies all night. And even though I was extremely tired, my mind kept racing about work and I was going through all the Excel sheet formulas I created in my head. And same thing happens when I used to study in college really late at night. This anxiety and stress will cause me to have tossing and turning all night, worrying about things. So I made a rule that I had to stop all work, studying, social media, planning, stressing at least 1 hour before bed. And I called this my wind down time. And after a while, it started to become a cue to my brain that it's almost time for bed. And my brain naturally just started calming down. And in that last hour, I would check my calendar just one last time just to prepare myself for the next day. Then I'll probably watch something on TV to distract my mind from work, life, preferably something fictional. And yes, I know it's still a screen, but it's a lot better than having a phone 2 inches away from your face. And I agree, it would probably be better to maybe read a book, listen to music, or meditate. But hey, I'm not perfect. And in those last final 30 minutes, I would get ready for bed, prep what I needed for in the morning, and then crawl into bed at least by 10 p.m. Doing this has allowed me to shut off my brain from all the noise and distractions of life and just calmly fall asleep. Now there's times that you're probably gonna have to work really late at night, and that's okay. Consistency is what matters here. And speaking of consistency, it is time for bed. If you didn't know, it's nighttime here. So I'll see you guys later. And there it is. If you could change your behavior first by first changing your identity and finding your why on why you want to wake up early and get a good night's sleep, you'll have no problem becoming a morning person. Because I've tried everything, and the only part that worked was training on the mental part first. Like any other habit, it's gonna be harder in the beginning, but it will get easier and it will happen if you stay consistent. And I'm not saying all those techniques, apps, and technology doesn't help, because they do. And I still use all those things, like listening to rain sounds at night, drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, using apps to remind me when to wind down. But those are just the cherry and icing on top, and the mental part is the whole cake. In my next video though, I will review the technology and techniques I do use to help plan my night routine, get a good night's sleep, and make sure I wake up early in the morning. But again, none of it will work unless you tackle the mental part first. So if you find this video helpful, then go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos in Nighty Night. Hey Siri, turn off the lights.